Hello, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. You can call me Sir or Mister. We're going to do a test here. And you can call me Professor, any of those things. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, my graduation hat fell off. Just a minute, we get her straight here. There we are. We're going to do some logic questions. And this is to that, if that is therefore to this. Okay, the questions will be based on some of the travelogues that we've made. And we've made about 50 of them or so. So if you've seen the travelogues, it'll help you out. But if you haven't, it won't matter because it's kind of fun to learn and find out things anyhow. So this is the old professor. Let's take a look at these travelogues. You can get the idea from this first example here. A poodle is to a dog as an eagle is to a, well, okay, a poodle is a kind of dog. That's the relationship in the first sentence. And then once you find out and figure out that first relationship in the first sentence, then apply the same principle to the second part of the puzzle, which is here, eagle is to a bird. I'll show you a quick example, a quick photograph of each of these logic sentences here. This is an example of a picture that I took of a golden eagle. The golden eagle is a more rare bird. It's not seen as much as the bald eagle. You know, the bald eagle has that white head, and you see it more frequently. Anyway, this golden eagle, these birds are a little bit bigger than the bald eagle. Let's try another example. Here we go. The Suez Canal is to Egypt, as the Panama Canal is to, again, we've got a canal and a country. The Suez Canal and Egypt on the top. Now, on the bottom, the canal is the Panama, so we're looking for a country that's associated with the Panama Canal. Just to give that a quick second or two of thought, and while you look at this picture of the Panama Canal. So, okay, we said that the Suez Canal was to Egypt, as the Panama Canal would be to, and the logical answer here in this case is the country of Panama. Let's try a few more and you'll catch on. All right, let's look at this one here. Spruce trees are to mountains, as cactus is to, again, we've got trees and the region. So cactus and the region. Just to help you out a little bit, here is a photograph of the kind of region or the kind of landscape that we're looking for cactus to grow in. Okay, the answer then would be desert. Spruce trees are to mountains, as the cactus is to desert. Here is another one. Wheat is to Saskatchewan as cotton is to, again, we're looking at the relationship between a product and a place. Wheat is to Saskatchewan as cotton is to, what place would that be? While you're thinking about that, here's a quick photograph that I took of some cotton plants. And I was in this place. And that place would be what place? And here is the answer. Wheat is to Saskatchewan as cotton is to Texas. Texas is the largest cotton growing state in the United States, producing almost half of all of the cotton. This one will be difficult if you haven't seen some of those travelogues that I made on Quebec City. You might be interested to go and look at them because this was really rather a significant part of the history of North America. Now, Sam Houston is to Santa Ana, as Sir Guy Carleton is to, and now you may not even know the names of these people, but Sam Houston, the city of Houston is named after him, and he defeated Santa Anna, the Mexican general. So that was the relationship between the two. Now, Sam Houston is to Santa Anna as Sir Guy Carleton is to some other military leader that he defeated. This is the fortress wall still standing at Quebec City, where Sir Guy Carleton and the British military, who now had occupied Quebec City ever since the Battle of the Plains of Abraham. So when the Americans attacked, Sir Guy Carleton met them and defeated them. Just as Sam Houston had defeated the Mexican general down in Texas, Sir Guy Carleton defeated the American military who had attacked Quebec City. Now, the question is really, who was the counterpart to Santa Anna down in Mexico? Who were the American military generals who attacked Quebec City and failed? That's who we're looking for. There was not one, but two military generals involved in the battle at Quebec City. One was Richard Montgomery, who was killed in the battle, and the other one was Benedict Arnold, who later turned traitor to the Americans and joined the English. But at this point in time, both Montgomery and Benedict Arnold were the finest generals that George Washington had shortly after the War of Independence, which was in 1776. And Washington had sent these two military guys up to take Montreal and Quebec City. But the English commander, Sir Guy Carleton, defeated them soundly. As I said, Montgomery was killed, Benedict Arnold was wounded, and retreated with his troops back to the U.S. It was really a major significant occurrence in the history of North America. And if you're interested in the details of what happened and how it happened, take a look at some of those travelogues that I made on Quebec City. Here is a little easier question, but you have to know your geography. The Canada-U.S. border is to the St. Lawrence River, as the U.S.-Mexico border is to, again, it looks like we're looking for the name of a river. And the name of the river that we're looking for is the one here in this photograph. It's the river between the U.S., which would be on the left side of the river, and Mexico, which would be on the right side. So what is the name of the river? Let's take a look at the question again. The Canada-U.S. border is to the St. Lawrence River, as the U.S.-Mexico border is to, and as you can see here, the answer is the Rio Grande River. Both rivers create the boundary between two countries. It's not the whole boundary, the whole distance, but part of that boundary between the U.S. and Canada and between the U.S. and Mexico is defined in part by rivers. The St. Lawrence in the north and the Rio Grande in the south. Here is another one. Las Vegas is to the Eiffel Tower. And by the way, we're talking about the Eiffel Tower. The duplicate that's made has been constructed in Las Vegas, not the one in Paris. But anyway, here we go. Las Vegas is to the Eiffel Tower, as Seattle is to. So we've got two cities, Vegas and Seattle. We've got a tower in Vegas. We're looking for a tower in Seattle. This is the tower in Seattle, looking right below it. I turned my camera straight up and took a photograph of it. And here is the answer, the Space Needle. Las Vegas is to the Eiffel Tower, as Seattle is to the Space Needle. And the Space Needle was built as part of the World's Fair when it was held in Seattle. Let's try another one. Panama is to the EMBERA, as Arizona is to. Now, the EMBERA are indigenous people in the country of Panama. So we're looking at a country and indigenous group of people. Panama is to the EMBERA, as Arizona is to which group of indigenous people? And there are several of them in Panama. This is an indigenous lady in Arizona that I photographed. And like I said, there are several tribes or groups of indigenous people in Arizona. And name one of them and you've got the answer. Just looking at the question, again, Panama is to the EMBERA, as Arizona is to any one of these indigenous groups would be okay. And it is not a complete list of all of the indigenous tribal groups that are in Arizona. But, it's some of them. The Navajo, the Yavapai, the Apache, the Yuma, the Zuni, the Tohono O'odham, which is down around Tucson, I believe. There's the Maricopa people, the Copapa, the Mojave, and the Havasupai. My cameraman was telling me that I should explain my thumb here. I was sucking my thumb, and I bit my thumb. Injured it. No, I wasn't. What happened was I was peeling an apple and a little bit careless, and I slashed my thumb a little bit, so I've got a little bit of a Band-Aid on it, but it's nothing serious. Okay, let's go on and take a look at some more of these logic questions. They're kind of fun. Here is another kind of a geography map question. Alberta in Canada. Alberta is to Banff National Park. We've got a place and a park. Alberta is to Banff National Park, as Texas is to, I guess we're looking for a national park down there. And if you've seen some of those travelogues I made of Texas, you'll be able to get this question in all likelihood. The national park in Texas is on the west side of the country, where there are mountains and it's more rugged. It's not flat plains or a seafront, a seacoast area like around the Gulf. But it's mountainous country, and they have a big, well-known national park there. All right, here's the answer. The Texas park, in blue at the bottom, is called the Big Bend National Park. So Alberta is to Banff National Park, as Texas is to Big Bend National Park. Here's a question on Canada-U.S. history. The Alaska Pipeline is to Alaska, as the CANAL pipeline is to what place? Here is some of the machinery working at building that pipeline that we're looking for. This pipeline was built back in the days of the Second World War, 1942-1943. And it was basically a U.S. effort to build the pipeline, along with the Alaska Highway and a series of airports. And I've made some travelogues on these topics. The CANAL pipeline at one time originally stood for Canadian Oil. So here we are. The Alaska pipeline is to Alaska, as the CANAL pipeline is to the Yukon. Now, if you said Canada, that would not be correct in this little logical question, because we're looking at a pipeline and its relationship to an area, not a country, but in the case of the states, to a part of it, a state. So therefore, the counterpart in Canada would be either a province or a territory. And in this case, it is a territory, the Yukon. Here is another question on boundaries and rivers. Let's take a look at it. Canada-U.S. border is to the St. Lawrence River, as the U.S.-Mexico border is to which river? We're looking for a river. Between, a relationship here between a country and a border, which is a river. Canada-U.S. border is to the St. Lawrence River, as the U.S.-Mexico border is to which river? Here is the river that we're talking about. It's not a big, large river. And on the other side there, where those animals are, That's the country of Mexico, and I'm standing on the American side when I took this photograph. So what is the name of this river? Okay, at the bottom in blue, we're looking for the Rio Grande River. The Canada-US border is to the St. Lawrence River, as the US-Mexico border is to the Rio Grande River. Both the Rio Grande and the St. Lawrence rivers make up only a part of the boundary between the two countries. On the one hand, between Canada and the US, and also between the US and Mexico. It does not, the rivers don't make up the entire boundary length, but they make up a part of it and a significant part of the boundary. I know you enjoyed that question on Big Bend National Park a little while ago earlier, so I thought I would give you another one. Take a look at this one. Banff National Park is to bear-proof containers as Big Bend National Park in Texas is to what kind of containers? So we're looking at some kind of an animal container. Not bears, like in Banff, but what kind of containers down in Big Bend Park, down in Texas? Here are the steel containers, and I'm putting some food and things in them. And at night, here comes this fellow around. It's not a bear. What kind of an animal is it? All right, there in black, we're looking for a javelina. Banff National Park is to bear-proof containers as Big Bend in Texas. That park is to javelina containers because both wild animals tend to come around at night and will pick up and dig up and scratch up your food if you leave it out. We've got another one here. Regina is to grain, as Yuma is to, what do you think? Remember, we are looking for an agricultural crop or product because Regina is to grain as Yuma is to what kind of a crop? This might help you with the answer. It's various vegetables are grown down in Yuma, and also palm trees produce something. And one of the things they produce, I just had to slip this in, are those sweet, great-tasting milkshakes. All right, which kind of a crop are we looking at in the Yuma area that would parallel the wheat that's grown around Regina, Saskatchewan? Okay, any kind of a vegetable would do, like lettuce and cabbage. It's a big productive area in the Yuma area for these vegetables. Also, Yuma is becoming well known for their palm trees and the dates that are produced on them. So either vegetables, any vegetables, or dates would be the answer. Let's look at this one. Calgary in Alberta is to the Calgary Stampede, a celebration, as Cozumel down in the Mayan Riviera in Mexico is to, okay, let's think about this. Calgary, the city, is to their holiday, the Stampede, as Cozumel, that place, also has a celebration. Here is a clue. This is one celebration here down in Cozumel, and this is the other one that is celebrated every year by the folks there. So again, Calgary is to the Stampede as Cozumel is to which of these two celebrations? Either one is the correct answer. And either of these answers would be correct. Carnival time or the celebration called the Day of the Dead down in Cozumel and all over Mexico. Let's try this one. Canada is to Cree or Ojibwe people who are indigenous people of Canada. Canada is to Cree or Ojibwe people as Panama is to, we're looking for indigenous people in Panama. When I was in Panama, I visited one of several indigenous groups that are in that country. All right, can you name one of the groups, indigenous groups in Panama? Here we are, one of several groups. Canada is to Cree or Ojibwe people as Panama is to one of these groups, the EMBERA, the Guna, the Bugle, the Wunan, or the Nagle. And we visited the EMBERA when we were there. Here's another one on an indigenous theme. Indian and Eskimo are terms, words, Indian and Eskimo, are to the USA as Inuit, Métis, and First Nations are to. So see if you can see the parallel there. Here are some stone carvings done by Inuit people, and this is a traditional dress of some Métis people, and this is some moccasins done by some First Nation folks. So what country are we thinking of here? All right, here we are. We're talking about the country Canada. Canada changed its name of its indigenous groups quite a few years ago at the request of Aboriginal indigenous people in that country. All right, I hope you had a little bit of fun with those logic questions, especially with the old professor here helping you out. And I was just thinking if I put on a pair of glasses, it would make me look a little more professorial. What do you mean? Cameraman. What's that you're saying? I don't even know what a PhD means? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. A PhD? I've got a PhD. Yes, I do know what it means. PhD stands for piled higher and deeper. So there.